Today I'm going to be spending 10 years in WWE 2K Universe mode just to see how everything changes. And we're here. I've already simulated ahead a couple years. I've tried to move everybody up that's on NXT to the main roster so we actually get some new faces in. Unfortunately, 2K doesn't have like a rookie generator, so we're still going to be seeing the same people 10, 20, 30 years, 50 years into the future no matter what. But I do want to see the funny stats because the stats do get pretty funny. If we go into the shows right now, the champions for Raw are going to be Braun Strowman, World Heavyweight Champion, Bronson Reed as the Intercontinental Champion, Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio as the World Tag Team Champions, Shayna Baszler as the Women's World Champion, and then Piper Niven and Chelsea Green as the Women's Tag Team Champions. Heading over to SmackDown, we got Carmelo Hayes as the WWE Champion. We got Ashante The Adonis as the United States Champion. We got Sheamus and Ridge Holland as the WWE Tag Team Champions. Shotzi is the WWE Women's Champion, and then of course Piper Niven and Chelsea Green are still the Tag Team Champions. Okay, this is 3 years in, so I still gotta go 10 years, and then after 10 years go by, then I'm gonna start the sim. I'm just stopping to see some notable things. I've already seen Cody Rhodes and Gunther be the Tag Team Champions, so things are getting pretty crazy already.
Later.
I literally simulated 1 year and the prophecy came true again. Cody and Gunther are tag team champs. It happened again. R-Truth, the United States Champion. Big E, WWE Champion. The Creed brothers as the World or WWE Champions. Asuka. We got some cool things going on. Let me see the teams. I'm curious. Hold on. Otis and Cedric Alexander are a team. Of course, the God Squad of Cody and Gunther. They've been a team for 5 years? What? Alright, man. The God Squad of Maxine Dupree and Nikki Cross. Braun Strowman and Omos are a team? What? Universe mode cooking? Seth Rollins and Apollo Crews are a team. What is this team? What the universe mode be doing, bro? They be doing the most Valhalla. Why am I getting called? Now we've done it. We finally reached year number 10. Actually, we kind of reached year 11. I may have gone a little bit overboard and I kind of got distracted. But now we get to do the fun part, which is actually going over the champions and the stats that we've gone so far. Chad Gable is the World Heavyweight Champion. He's done it, bro. He's finished his story. Apollo Crews is the Intercontinental Champion. This has not changed. At some point, Alexa Bliss returned, I guess, and became the WWE Women's World Champion. And then Chelsea Green and Piper Niven are still the Tag Team Champions 10 years later. On the SmackDown side, Cody Rhodes is the WWE Champion. That has not changed. He went on his little side quest with Gunther and apparently won the Tag Team Championship like 10 times or something like that. But now he's back on top. The United States Champion is Karrion Kross. He actually won a title. The WWE Tag Team Champions are the Street Profits. Alba Fire is the WWE Women's Champion. Okay. And of course, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven are still the Tag Team Champs in both shows. Now I want to see the historical stats for like the titles themselves. I want to see who's won it and how they've won it. Let me see. For the WWE Championship, we're gonna go from the bottom. Solo Sikoa won at some point. Duke Hudson became WWE Champion at some point in this timeline. AJ Styles, Randy Orton won it twice. Carmelo Hayes won it twice. Jimmy Uso's a 3-time champ. Bobby Lashley, Big E, LA Knight 4-time. Roman 6-time. And then Cody has held it for 7 separate times. He's a separate time world champion. He's a 7-time world champion. And then Roman has a combined reign of 1,825 days. And Cody has a combined reign of 1,138 days. Duke Hudson held the title for 28 days, bro. That's hilarious. And then the World Heavyweight Championship on the Raw side, Tommaso Ciampa won it at some point. Chad Gable was on his current run. Braun Breaker won it. Akira Tozawa won the World Heavyweight Championship. Ilya Dragunov was 2-time champ. CM Punk won it. Jey Uso, Damian Priest, Braun Strowman, Shinsuke. Seth Rollins won it 7 times, but we got the real champ now. It looks like Chad Gable recently won it because he's on a 15-day reign. So, okay, that's fun. That's interesting. What about tag teams? See, Cody and Gunther won the tag team champions. Cody and Gunther won this tag team championships 10 times, bro. 10 times World Tag Team Champions. And then a bunch of weird random teams over here. Of course, Cody and Gunther were champions for a combined days of 1,217 days. That's crazy. The IC championship, man, a lot of people have held the IC championship. I'm trying to see recent times. I'll see if we can find somebody that should not be here. Looks like Omos won it 2 times at some point, like a GOAT. Wes Lee is a 3-time Intercontinental Champion, okay. Nobody to this day has broken The Miz's 8-time Intercontinental Championship record. That's a shame. Let's see, for the WWE Tag Team Championships, Rich Holland and Sheamus have held it 11 times. Okay then. Tony D'Angelo and Stax have won it twice. Street Profits 4 times. Pretty Deadly 5 times. The Creed Brothers 8 times. And they held it for a combined 1,420 days. In this timeline, Uncle Howdy has won the United States Championship 7 times. Karrion Kross 6 times. Logan Paul 8 times. 8-time United States champion Logan Paul. Andrade has won it 3 times. Wow, Uncle Howdy has held it for a combined 937 days. That man is the United States champion. For the women, looks like Tiffany Stratton has won it once. Scarlett won it once. Let's see, anything else that's notable. Nikki Cross won it. I mean, I guess she did in real life. Gigi Dolan won it at some point. Alba Fire's on the current reign. Shotzi won it 3 times. Cora Jade won it 3 times. And then Charlotte, 12-time ball hog over here. Bianca has held it for a combined 1,362 days. That's wild. And then Alba Fire is currently on the 15-day reign. I'm guessing these people have won it at WrestleMania. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven are 17-time women's tag team champions. Like, that's insane. They've held it for a combined 1,762 days. I don't know why Piper Niven is different, but they've been a team. I guess she's been teamed with different people, I guess. And then the Women's World Championship. Let's check it out. Zoe Stark won it. Tegan Knox won it. Shayna Baszler won it. I remember that. JC Jane has won it at some point. Candice LeRae has been the Women's World Champion. Natalia won it 4 times. Alexa Bliss won it 4 times. Ronda Rousey won it.
Specific songs anytime you like. Just say try Amazon Music Unlimited.
Shut up.
24 times. And similar songs on Amazon Music.
1 Thessalonians 5:16-17.
Alexa, stop. You're gonna give me a copyright strike. Anyways, Becky Lynch and Charlotte have all won it 7 times, I guess, from Ronda Rousey. Okay, so now we're actually where I wanted to be. We're 10 years into the future of WWE. We got Ilya versus Braun Strowman, Wendy Chu, Xia Li and JC Jane, Nikki Cross and Becky, Eric and Kofi Kingston, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, Otis versus Cedric. What is happening? Chelsea Green, Caden Carter, Damian Priest, Axiom, Tommaso Ciampa, and CM Punk. Gunther versus Veer, and then MVP, who's like 60 at this point, versus Giovanni Vinci, the Chad. What a legend. Actually, I really want to quickly check if there's any like notable teams that have been created. AJ Styles and Uncle Howdy are a team. Alright then. Apollo Crews and CM Punk are a team. Okay. Tommaso Ciampa, Chad Gable, bro. What are these teams? Bro, they've literally been a tag team for 10 years. Just imagine Gunther and Cody Rhodes actually became a team for real. That would be crazy. Kira Tozawa and Ivar. What are these teams? Jinder Mahal and Wes Lee. But damn, they really hitting that. Alright, let's go to SmackDown. Let's see how this match card looks like. Andre Chase versus Solo Sikoa. Stax versus Luke Gallows. LWO versus the Brawling Brutes, I guess. Michin versus Bailey. Dakota Kai versus Asuka. Gigi Dolan versus Tamina. And then you got a main event tag team championship match. Alright then. That one's not as different as the Raw card, but still kind of interesting. We're going to go on to Backlash. We're going to go ahead and see. We got Ilya versus Chad Gable for the World Heavyweight Championship. That's a banger. We got Stax and Ridge Holland versus the Good Brothers. What? Nikki Cross versus Roxanne Perez. Dakota Kai versus Cora Jade. Duke Hudson versus Andre Chase. No, Chase U. Chase U is done 10 years into the future. Chase U is cooked. We got Caden Carter, Katana Chance versus Piper Niven and Chelsea Green. Of course, the God Squad of Gunther and Cody versus Veer and Sangha, the team that isn't even in the company anymore. And in the main event, well, not in the main event, Butch and Cody Rhodes. Cody putting double duty. What a guy. And in the actual main event, Apollo Crews and Giovanni Vinci for the Intercontinental Championship. That match could low-key go kind of hard. So for the match results, Ilya is now the new World Heavyweight Champion. Looks like Chad Gable held it for like a month. Stax and Ridge won. Roxanne Perez wins. Dakota Kai wins. Duke Hudson has won. The student beats the teacher. Piper Niven and Chelsea Green retain. Cody and Gunther win. No surprises there. Cody Rhodes retains. And Apollo Crews retains. This is such a weird lineup for stuff sometimes. Braun versus Damian. I mean, you could see that in actual current Monday Night Raw. The Viking brothers are cooked. JCJ and Nikki Cross. Okay. Oh my god. Ilya versus Drew in a random Raw? That's a banger. And then Drew wins. Bro, that's a fire matchup. Let's go ahead and skip to the SmackDown Go Home Show, the Night of Champions. We're going to see how this card looks like. Randy Orton versus Montez Ford. Julius Creed, Carl Anderson, Scarlett versus Tiffany Stratton. This weird teams. Andre Chase and Tony D'Angelo have teamed up against Pretty Deadly. Bayley versus Shotzi. You can see that in current day SmackDown. AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes, and Solo Sikoa. Gigi Dolan versus Asuka, and then Charlotte Flair versus Cora Jade in the main event. Charlotte Flair winning, of course. 10 years into the future, she still can't put anybody over. All right, so Night of Champions. Let's see. Duke Hudson and Randy Orton. Duke Hudson is in stellar main events. The Good Brothers versus the Creed Brothers. JC Jane versus Nikki Cross. For the World Tag Team Champions, we got Otis and Cedric Alexander versus Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor. We got the Women's Tag Team Championships on the line. Cora Jade versus Bianca Belair. Ilya Dragunov versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. That's a freaking banger. And then Roxanne Perez versus Becky. And in the main event, we got Pretty Deadly versus the Street Profits for the world, not the world, the WWE Tag Team Championships. Alright then, alright, I see it. They retain, the Street Profits retain, Randy Orton wins, the Good Brothers win, JC Jane wins, Otis and Cedric Alexander are the Tag Team Champs, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire the Women's Tag Team Champs, Bianca Belair beats Cora, Ilya Dragunov beats Drew, and then Becky beats Roxanne. We're gonna go ahead and skip forward a bit. We're gonna go and see how Money in the Bank is gonna be looking like. Sonya Deville, Roxanne, JD McDonough versus Wes Lee on Raw. That could go pretty hard. And in a triple threat, we got Chad Gable, Braun Breaker, and Ilya Dragunov for the World Heavyweight Championships. Bro, these are bangers. Yo, WWE in 10 years is cooking. And then Ilya retains. Oh my goodness. See how it's going over on SmackDown. We got Shotzi, Gigi Dolan, Cora Jade, Scarlett, LWO versus the Brawling Brutes, LA and Tony D'Angelo just switching tag team partners every week. We got a fatal 4-way, Tiffany versus Bianca. That's a banger. And in a triple threat main event, we got the Creed Brothers versus Pretty Deadly versus the Street Profits for the WWE Tag Championships. And then the Creed Brothers are the new tag team champions. Cool. Let's move on to Money in the Bank. Charlotte Flair main events. Damian Priest and Akira Tozawa is an actual match at Money in the Bank. Alright then. Wesley versus Giovanni Vinci. That would go hella hard. Roxanne Perez versus Sonya Deville. Good Brothers versus Bobby and Stacks. Okay. Katana Chance versus... This is a match you would see today. Tony Angelo and LA Knight versus the Street Profits. And then the actual Money in the Bank match is CM Punk, Braun Breaker, Jey Uso, Axiom, Tommaso Ciampa, Drew McIntyre, Kofi Kingston, and Otis. This will low-key go kind of crazy. I mean, Axiom and Tommaso Ciampa, Braun Breaker, and Jey Uso in the ladder match. I don't know what 50-something-year-old CM Punk is doing here, but I guess he's gonna do something. We got Drew and CM Punk in the same match, like 10 years after their feud is done. So we'll see if there's any animosity there. Ilya Dragunov versus Chad Gable for the World Heavyweight Championship. And in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, we got Charlotte, Dakota Kai, Shotzi, Gigi Dolan, Cora Jade, Scarlett, Asuka, and Alba Fire. Now let's see how these turn out. Damian beats Akira, Giovanni beats Wes, Roxanne beats Sonya, the Good Brothers beat them, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance beat Chelsea and Piper, Street Profits win, and CM Punk is Mr. Money in the Bank. Damn, I jinxed it. My bad. Chad Gable wins back the World Heavyweight Championship from Ilya Dragunov, and Charlotte Flair is Miss Money in the Bank. She just couldn't help herself. Even at 10 years later, Charlotte Flair needs to win. Now, as we keep going with this sim, at the very end, I do want to go over the historical stats, because you may have noticed I didn't go over the historical stats when I was going through the championship stats, because I want that to be the end. Wesley versus Ricochet for the Intercontinental Championship. I guess Ricochet came back after getting murdered, and then he had his little AEW run, and then this banger is going down on Raw in 10 years, and Ricochet wins the IC Championship, I guess? I'm not sure. Who are the current champions now that I think about it? Chad Gable, Ricochet, Cedric and Otis, Alexa Bliss, and then on SmackDown, Cody, Logan, Creed Brothers, EO. But this is a lineup you would see today. Skipping ahead to SummerSlam, we're gonna go ahead and see what this pay-per-view is cooking up. In the opening match, you got a triple threat between CM Punk, Braun Breaker, and Chad Gable. That's crazy. Another Piper Niven and Katana Chance and whatever match. Cora Jade versus Zelina Vega. Duke Hudson versus AJ Styles. Rhea Ripley versus JC Jane. Charlotte Flair versus Io Sky for the WWE Women's Championship. Damian Priest versus Jey Uso. And in the main event, it's Valhalla versus Roxanne Perez in the SummerSlam main event. Okay then. I guess at this point, Roxanne's a superstar, right? I mean, I guess so. Chad Gable retains the World Heavyweight Championship. They win. I don't even care. Zelina wins. AJ Styles beat Duke Hudson. Rhea Ripley wins. Io Sky wins. Jey Uso, and then Roxanne. What a freaking lineup. Are they still the money? Are they still holding Money in the Bank? I'm curious. I kind of skipped over that. Yep, CM Punk still is holding Money in the Bank. What about Charlotte? Charlotte used hers. Okay, Charlotte at some point used the Miss Money in the Bank briefcase. CM Punk still has it though. Still at his disposal. As we move on to Payback. Roxanne, Carmella, Pretty Deadly versus Jimmy Uso, and bro, Stacks keeps chitching. He and Tony D'Angelo keep switching tag team partners like crazy. Oh, Charlotte Flair is not going for the tag team championships with Scarlett. Okay then. Carmelo Hayes versus Duke Hudson, Cora Jade, Dakota Kai, Piper Niven, and Chelsea Green going up against a new team of Xia Li and Shayna Baszler. Chad Gable versus Damian Priest for the world title. Ronda Rousey versus JC Jane. What the hell? And in the main event, it's KO versus Kofi Kingston. What the heck? KO wins. Ronda wins. Damian Priest wins the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. El Campeon is back 11 years into the future. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn win. I'm surprised Charlotte Flair didn't win this one. Pretty Deadly, and then Roxanne Perez. Okay, cool. Let's see some of the weekly shows. And then in the next weekly show, it's going to be Gunther Cody versus Otis and Cedric for the World Tag Team Championships, by the way. And wow, they actually retained. Cody Gunther lost. I find it low-key hilarious how Cody and Gunther are still like a tag team 10 years in, and they still go like for the tag team championships, even though Cody's like the WWE champion. Like, that's kind of nice. Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown. Bro, this is a WrestleMania match. And Tiffany wins, as she should. Fast Lane. Let's get it. Street Profits, Creed Brothers, Tag Team Championship match. Nikki Cross, Roxanne Perez, Gigi Dolan, Mei Chin. Pretty Deadly versus Cruz del Toro and Stacks. Bro, Stacks is getting passed around. Eric versus 60, nearly 70-year-old MVP. You got Damian Priest versus Akira Tozawa for the World Championship. The Judgment Day versus Sanga and Veer. Randy versus Duke Hudson. And in the main event, it's Alexa Bliss versus Liv Morgan for the World Women's Championship. I'm sure a lot of men around the world are gonna be watching. The Alexa Bliss retains. It looks like Randy Orton wins. Judgment Day wins. Damian Priest retains. As far as I know, he's the champ. I don't think Akira Tozawa won it. And the Creed Brothers are the champs. Okay, go ahead and skip over to Survivor Series. Seems like the pay-per-views are going to be the most interesting here. Roxanne Liv at Survivor Series. Tiffany versus Scarlett. Cruz del Toro or the LWO versus the Brawling Brutes. Now Stacks is teaming with Karrion Kross against the Street Profits. Tommaso Ciampa versus Damian Priest for the world title. The Women's War Games match is going to be Isla Dawn, Alba Fire, Bianca Tamina still wrestling. Gigi Dolan, Cora Jade, Ivy Now, and Charlotte Flair. Okay, I can actually kind of see this happening, except Tamina. She's definitely going to be retired at this point. They win. Solo versus Duke Hudson. Duke Hudson beat Solo Sikoa. The self-proclaimed tribal chief has been defeated by a Chase U alumni. I guess Ronda and Raquel are a team now as they defeat Kaden Carter, Katana Chance. The Judgment Day beat Cody and Gunther. And in the men's war games, it's going to be Damon Kent, Randy Orton, Tony D'Angelo, Big E, the Good Brothers, Bobby Lashley, and then Robert Roode as Damon Kemp's team win. That is the most random team setup I've ever seen. They keep shooting. Braun Breaker versus CM Punk. Ilya versus Omos. JC Jane, Valhalla. We're just looking over these. Chad Gable and Damian Priest are still going at it. And then in the main event, it's going to be Cody and Gunther again versus Sanga and Veer for the World Tag Team Championships. And they retain. On SmackDown, we got Tiffany Stratton versus Shotzi, Cora Jade, Tamina, and Scarlett. Carmelo Hayes versus Randy would go crazy. Dakota Kai versus Wendy Chu. Stacks keeping the trend alive. Now teaming with Angelo Dawkins versus the Brawling Brutes. Tony D'Angelo keeping the trend alive. Teaming with Damon Kemp versus Scripps and Grayson Waller. And then Uncle Howdy and Solo versus Pretty Deadly. I'm starting to see that SmackDown has lost The Rock. And here we are at the Royal Rumble. Chad Gable, Damian Priest again for the world title. Pretty Deadly versus the Good Brothers. JC Jane versus Valhalla. Carmelo Hayes versus Duke Hudson. The Women's Rumble. Gigi Dolan versus Dakota Kai. Carmella versus Roxanne Perez. Ilya versus Jey Uso. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins 10 years later. And then the Men's Rumble. I'm curious who wins the Rumbles. Chad Gable wins the title. Pretty Deadly beat the Good Brothers, JC Jane, Carmelo Hayes, and then Ronda Rousey. Of course, bruh. Of course Ronda Rousey's is winning the Women's Rumble 10 years in. Gigi Dolan, Roxanne, Jey Uso. CM Punk beats Seth Rollins. That's funny. And then Andre Chase has won the Men's Rumble. Chase, you. Nothing super crazy happening on Raw. Let's check SmackDown before we move on to Elimination Chamber. Nothing too crazy. So let's go on to Elimination Chamber. We are one pay-per-view away from Mania. CM Punk, Chad Gable for the world title. Elton Prince, Kate Wilson, Pretty Deadly versus Solo Sikoa, and Joaquin Wilde. Okay. Kiden Carter and Katana Chance versus bro. These two have been feuding for like a decade. Let it go. The men's elimination chamber is Axiom, JD McDonough, Songa, Jay, Wesley, and an Ilya Dragunov. And then Stacks, of course, back at it again with a new tag partner. This time Damon Kemp against the Creed brothers. We got Tony D'Angelo, of course, back at it again, teaming with Jey Uso, or Jimmy Uso, I'm sorry, against Santos Escobar and Cruz del Toro. I guess the LWO reformed. We got Duke Hudson and LA Knight for the WWE Championship. Roxanne versus Rhea Ripley. Judgment Day versus Cody and Gunther. And in the women's elimination chambers, Ronda, Natty, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, and Raquel Rodriguez. All right, let's see. Chad Gable retains against Punk. Pretty Deadly wins. Piper Niven and Chelsea Green win. Axiom wins the men's chamber. That's funny. Creed Brothers wins. The new LWO win. LA Knight wins the title. Rhea Ripley beats Roxanne. Cody and Gunther win here. And then Ronda Rousey wins the women's world. But Ronda Rousey won the Rumble. Oh my God, no. She's on the Ronda run. She's taking everything. She won the chamber. She won the Rumble. She's gonna main event WrestleMania and fight for the other champion. Oh God, we're in the worst timeline. Okay, so one more show until Mania. Let's see if anything super interesting happens. KO versus Johnny Gargano will go crazy stupid, by the way. Axiom versus Punk. I don't think this match is ever gonna happen. I mean, I don't know. I digress. Let's check on SmackDown before we move on to Mania. Andre Chase, LA Knight. Let's see anything kind of interesting here. Io versus Tiffany Stratton will go crazy stupid. I want to see that match. And then Cody and Duke Hudson. Bro, Duke Hudson has been the dark horse, the low-key MVP. He's like in all these high-profile matches. As Andre Chase is going to be main eventing WrestleMania like, what, 51, I think? Or 52. So at Mania, we got Damian Priest and Chad Gable again for the world title. KO versus Johnny Gargano. Carmelo Hayes versus Duke Hudson. Veer Mahan and Sangha versus Otis and Cedric Alexander. Tamina and Dakota Kai versus Isla Dawn and Alba Fire for the women's tag team championships. Of course, Stacks back at it again with a new tag partner, this time Butch against the Creed brothers. We got a six woman tag team match with Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, and Candice LeRae versus Piper Niven, Chelsea Green, and Becky Lynch. We got a 4-way tornado tag team match with the Brawling Brutes, Creed Brothers, Street Profits, Pretty Deadly for the WWE Tag Team Championships. We got Logan Paul versus Karrion Kross for the United States Championship. Sami Zayn versus Ricochet for the Intercontinental Championship. Natty versus Ronda for the Women's World Championship. Roxanne versus Rhea for nothing. Carmella versus JC Jane. And in the main event, it's going to be Andre Chase versus LA Knight for the WWE Championship. So, let's simulate this, shall we? Damian Priest wins back the World Heavyweight Championship. Kevin Owens beats Johnny. Carmelo Hayes beats Duke Hudson. Veer and Sangha win the titles. Dakota Kai and Tamina win the titles. The Creed brothers beat Stacks and Butch. And then Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, and Candice LeRae beat Piper, Chelsea, and Becky. Pretty Deadly win the titles. Karrion Kross, I think, retains the United States Championship. Ricochet retains. Ronda Rousey retains. Roxanne Perez loses to Rhea Ripley. Carmella beats JC Jane. And LA Knight is still the WWE Champion. And with that, our sim comes to an end, but I still want to check the historical stats one more time till we finish out this video. I'm just low-key real curious how these, if any of these have changed any notably at all. Duke Hudson won the title at some point, it looks like. I don't know if that's new or not. That was a while ago. Damian Priest, 5-time champ now. Chad Gable's a 3-time champ now. So the championship stats have not changed that much, honestly. I was expecting more changes. But for the historical stats, let's check these out. So for WrestleMania, The Undertaker still holds the record for most wins at Mania at 25. Most main event appearances is Hulk Hogan. Well, that's actually Roman Reigns now. But I digress. It's not updated. Main appearances are going to be Undertaker at 27. SummerSlam, The Undertaker has 10 wins at SummerSlam. Main event appearances for John Cena are 7. Appearances for Randy are 16. Money in the Bank, CM Punk has won Money in the Bank 5 times, and then Bianca Belair has won it undisclosed amount of times, but she successfully cashed in 3 times. For the Royal Rumble, Braun Strowman and Gunther still hold those records. Those are real. title. And then for total wins in the Rumble, Stone Cold at 3, Kofi Kingston at 21, and Eliminations Kane at 46. So nothing super crazy. I was expecting a little bit more changes, but that was still a lot of fun. I'm actually surprised how much the matches actually changed. I was pretty surprised. And that's gonna be the end of today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I know it's corny, but come on, guys, we're on the road to 20K. I just need 2 seconds for you to click that subscribe button and help me get there. And with all that out of the way, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.